Hello guys, welcome to the last day of our Kotlin workshop. So yesterday we learned about the functions and we did some kind of problem solving, and at last we learned about what OOPS concept was, like what is object oriented programming, wherein we learned about what is classes, what are objects, and what are the four pillars of classes. That was inheritance, abstraction, encapsulation, and polymorphism. Okay, so today what we are going to learn is that now today we are going to learn that how to define classes in the Kotlin. Then we will see the two type of constructor, that was primary constructor and a secondary constructor. And at the last we will just learn about inheritance. Okay, so yeah, back. So go in your browser and write Kotlin playground so that we can type our start coding in our online editor. Okay. Yeah. So like how in Kotlin to define a function we use fun, the fun keyword, right? So similarly to define the class in Kotlin we use the keyword class. Okay, we use the keyword class, and then after class we used to write the name of the class, like whatever you want to name. So for example, let's take I want to create a class of car. Okay, I want to create a class of car. And yesterday only I just covered up all the introduction about class, what were class. So I'm not going to repeat that again because that's the two huge concept. Okay, and then we use this curly bracket to add our code. Okay. So what classes consist of now? Classes consist of two things. The first thing are the property of their class, and the second thing are the function of their class. Okay, and so what properties are? Properties are like, for example, let's take a class on human. Let's take we are going to create a class on a human, or let's say this example car. So what property does car have? The car have property like their name, their model number, their how many number of door they have, and their engine model, etc., etc. Right? And what their function can be like? What can we create a function in the class like that? How fast can it accelerate? Then if we added a nitro in that car, then how fast can car go after adding nitro? And like that, all other function we can add. Okay, or we can also add function like that. What will be the cost of the car per quantity? Like for example, I want to purchase 10 cars. Then what would be the cost of the 10 cars? So like we can create different functions inside the classes. Like you guys, and I also told you yesterday that everything, that every data type in Kotlin is a class, right? So you guys remember that when we declare a string like this, yes, then we did something like this compare to, right? So this compare to was nothing but it is a function in that class. Like there is a class named string in Kotlin somewhere, and in that class there is a function called compare to. Okay, and they are kind of different. And what can be the attribute of this class? Then we use something like name dot length. Remember, so this name dot length, name, and then this name, spelling mistake, name dot length. This length was what it was the attribute of the class. As you guys can see, we didn't mention any kind of bracket after length. So anything in class, if you don't write, if you don't specify any kind of bracket, it is not a function. It is a property of that class. And if you specify the bracket, then it becomes the function of the class. Okay, so enough of theory. So coding part. Okay, so first let's say I'm going to just add a property of this class. To add a property to a class, you just declare it as a normal variable. How? Like var name and then string, and for right now let's declare it empty. So what this name happen now? So this name is now the property of this car. Okay, so what this name become? This name becomes the property of the class. And similarly, I can create multiple property inside a class. Like for example, let's say I want to create. I want to create a property of the model number. Okay, let's say I want to create a property of model, string, and then bracket. Okay, so you guys might be thinking that why I'm just declaring it empty. Instead, I can do it like this. It's not good to just declare a variable because sometimes it gives error in compile time. That's why to avoid error, just declare it empty string. Okay, so double quote means empty string. Okay, so now how to create an object of this class? Like yesterday I told you guys that each class has its own object, right? Like if I created some car called car, and then like someone I can create a multiple object of that car, right? So how to create the object of that car? So to create an object of a car, just declare a variable, anything. Let's say I am declaring variable car obj. It's the name of a variable, and then equal to, and then car, and then bracket. So what this becomes? So this line will initiate our object of this car class. Okay, not capital, small car. Sorry. Okay. So what this line does now? This line will initiate will create the object of car class. Okay, and I can create multiple class car. Like let's say I'm creating another object called car2 obj, and I can again initiate object. So what this becomes? This two become a different object of that class. Okay, so अभी थोड़ा रुको. So now see, now I have created a class with the name empty and model empty. So if I just print it right now, if I did print ln and then car obj dot name, okay, and if I run it again, you will see I didn't get any output. Why I didn't get any output? Why? That is because the name is empty. If I write here, like let's say Bugatti, and now if I run it, you can see that I will get the output Bugatti. Why? Because the name, the property name of this car class is Bugatti right now. But whenever we create any class, we doesn't by default give it any property. So to give, so for example, let's say this car class is being used by Nidhi also. Like Nidhi told me Zaki, yeah, Sunna, meko, just give me your car class. So if I gave her my car class, and by giving it doesn't mean that I will give her code. I will just convert this car class into a package, and I will give Nidhi this package, like how this our string. Did you guys have ever saw the string class? No, no, but it is there in background. How how the Kotlin developer did it? They just converted that class into a package. So what I will do, I will just create the car package and I will give it to Nidhi. But now Nidhi doesn't want the car name to be Bugatti. She wants to be, let's say, Lamborghini or Toyota. So how can we define the property of a class? To define property of a class, just what do after you create the object of the class, after you create the object of the just type car, the object name. Okay, so this car obj is the object name of this car class. Okay, then the object name, and then the property of the class. So let's say the property is name. Okay, property name and equal to, let's say, Toyota. Okay, Toyota. But now if I print it, you will see that I will not get any blank screen. I will get Toyota. Why? That is because the property of the name property of this car object, okay, of this car obj is now Toyota. And similarly, I can just create multiple objects. Like for example, let me remove this all and let me create new object. So for example, now Faizan is also taking my class object. Okay, so let's say Faizan name it car obj, car2 obj equal to car, and he want the name of the car should be, let's say, Bugatti. Okay, he's also a Bugatti fan. And then just a minute, guys. Huh? So let's say Faizan want to name his car Bugatti. Okay, so what I will do, I will add car2 obj dot name and equal to, let's say, Bugatti. Okay, and if I now print this one, car2 obj dot name, you can see that the first one will be print me Toyota, and the second one will print me Bugatti. So what happened? These two are really different objects. Okay, in दोनों object का आपस में कोई लेन देन नहीं है. If I name anything, if I just name the property of this class anything, it will not affect the other object of this class. Okay, so you guys got the basic understanding about class and object and the property. Yes.